Right, what have we got here then? We've got a Triang Hornby R357 A1A diesel electric loco with magnesium, and this was in quite good nick, so I put a bid on this and I won it at a very reasonable price as well, less than 30 quid including the postage and packing. So that was lucky, and it's from 1967, this one, and it's in fairly good nick. One or two little scuff marks on it. It's got a matte finish, the plastic, so there is one or two little scuff marks, nothing too drastic, and it doesn't look too bad, does it really? And it is for, I think it came out in 62, and considering its age, I think the detail on it is still pretty good. You know, the handrails are just a bit short, aren't they? Don't go far, but that's one of the few faults you can find wrong with it, really. Now the bogies, the steps don't quite line up with the doors, because the bogies, they've put them forward. They should be about, I reckon, about 5mm back towards the centre of the loco. So whether they've done that to prevent the bogies swinging and hitting the battery boxes there, or whether it was so that they didn't have to put an extension on the front for the coupling, I don't know. So one of those little money saving things, I suppose. Yeah, talking of bogies and steps, I bought another one of these as a sort of a backup for spares that was really cheap, and there's something weird I noticed. So on the bogie, you've got the steps, that's the plastic bogie, and this is the metal motor bogie. The steps are in the right place roughly. If I put that one down and show you this one is from, well, after 1972 and up until 76. So if you look at this motor bogie, look at where the steps are. They're the wrong end, aren't they? And this motor bogie is a casting. So there's no way I can get that apart to move the sides onto the other side, kind of thing, to correct it. So that's a weird one. And the thing I noticed was, I'll show you in a minute, it's the pictures in the catalogue are exactly the same. So what a weird one, eh? So this one's got the shiny finish, and it's also got the additional pickups on the other non-motorised bogie. So that was this was less than £20, and unfortunately, when I was servicing the motor, I had to make a little. I'll have to get a smaller washer there, but that's holding on that corner of the bottom plate there, and that bottom plate holds the magnets in, and the magnets hold in the bearings, and the, you know, it's like it's a really weird motor design, this one. And the plastic, there's a plastic thing that holds the brushes and the pickup wipers and things, and that was bent out of shape so that the brushes wouldn't sort of stay still, so I had to fix that. I've put on the underneath. You can't see it, but one of the magnets I had to put a spacer so that it was actually touching one of the bearings so that it would run properly. But apart from that, not bad. And this is the instruction leaflet from the 1967 loco. This one was born on the 13th of September 1967, and it's got the usual instructions. This is the Bobo motor bogie that you find in the Transcontinental and other locomotives, but it doesn't show the particular bogie for this locomotive, which is a bit odd really. So there's no instructions on how to service it at all. But it's similar to the old one, apart from the method of pickup and the fact that the bearings don't actually sit. If you look at the old one, the bearings sit in the bearings are actually seated in the chassis with spring clips on the end with a ball bearing, so they can't really go anywhere. But on this motor design, the bearings are in mid-air and they're held in top and bottom by other components, and this accounts for the noise with these. You'll hear it when I run them. So but I did want one of those, so I ended up with two. Now in the 67 catalogue, where is it? It's here somewhere. Oh, there's a picture of it, and the Freight Master. Yeah, so I've got some wagons out to sort of almost duplicate that. I've got all those wagons apart from the sheep wagon. The only one I've got is a later one with SR written on the side, but I've got all the other ones. So and it was green up until 1968. So this was the last year, this catalogue, when it was in green, until they re-released it in the 70s when it went back to green. So we've got a picture in this catalogue, which is, this is the 1974 one, and this is to show you the if I can find it. No, it must be the other way. There we are. So you've got some train sets here, and you can see on that picture there, look, the steps, wrong end of the bogie. How did they get that wrong? So there you go. It's a weird thing to discover. So we'll put all those away, and we'll watch them go round, shall we? Right, so here we go. Let's, this is the 1967 one on the Super 4 track with a suitable collection of goods vehicles there. And let's get that one going. And this one needed new brushes in it when I got it, because although it was running, one of the brushes that it came with was almost entirely gone. So I've replaced those. The rest of the motor is in fairly good nick. Actually, there doesn't seem to be too much wear. The only problem with these is when they're using the magnesium, it reduces the speed by quite a lot. Also, the magnets have a tendency to rub slightly against the wheels, on the inside of the wheels. So you do get, at slower speeds, you get a sort of a jerky kind of effect. Let's get the other one going. And he's got some red and yellow coaches. You can't really call them blood and custard, can you? These are the colourful ones from the 1970s, and it's probably more like clotted cream and raspberry sorbet, isn't it? So as you can see, the one on the Super 4 track, they're both going roughly the same speed, but he's on 50%, and the one on the modern nickel silver track, so there's no effect of magnesium, he's doing the same speed for 40%. But I've been wanting one of these in my collection for quite a long time, but up until recently, I think everyone's a bit hard up. There hasn't appeared any on the on that famous auction site that I've felt was worth the money. But I mean, the combined cost of these two was about £46, so that isn't too bad. And although I bought this one in particular as a spare, it seems to be doing alright at the moment. So I did a bit of a bodge job on the motor, and it seems to work, so very good. But you'll see that the slow speed performance of these is not brilliant. Let's slow this one down. So it could be smoother, but that's not too bad. If I'll show you the other one on the Super 4 track with the magnesium in operation, you'll see that it really struggles at low speed, and this one's got a better motor in it as well. Sort of a bit jerky, isn't it? At slow speed. Who knows, it might get better. The brushes probably aren't worn in yet. But yeah, it's probably the worst motor that they designed. They've actually, the one in the EM2, which came out in the early 60s as well, actually had a slightly different bogie design at the interior, not the bogie sides, which are different. But the bearings in that one are actually held in position by extra pieces of the chassis, whereas this one, they're just held in place by the magnets. Having said all that, they're still good fun, aren't they? And the noise is exactly the same as I remember when I had one when I was probably about, I think I must have been about 13, and it would have been about 68 or 69. And I went to the model shop to get a nice green one like this, and they changed it to blue, which didn't match my coaching stock. So I was a bit disappointed, but I had the blue one anyway. It's a terrific noise, isn't it? With both of them going round. There, so hope you enjoyed this video, and see you again soon. Goodbye.